It is therefore an object of some utility and importance for a man to acquire a dexterity in boxing, in order to defend himself against such rudeness and to protect those whose weakness, age, or sex renders them liable to the insults of the rabble, and deprives them of all power of effectual resistance.
Hey guys, it's Chris Dyer here at Reborn Martial Arts here in Springfield, Virginia, and today we're going to be doing part 3 in our overview of the Manual of Defense by an anonymous author from 1789, a student of both Humphreys and Mendoza. Let's take a look at it. Okay, let's get to lesson time. So we're going to do a quick recap from the last video because all of these lessons kind of build on themselves. So where we left off, Mike is going to take his Mendoza style guard, meaning he's going to be more forward than some of the previous styles that we looked at. His hands are going to be up here in front. He's going to focus on clearing with these high blocks, driving the wrist and elbow up to block the punch coming in, and then he's also going to focus on this mid guard to guard his midsection as I'm doing a punch low. So we'll just do a quick practice round. I do my left to his right cheek, he's going to cover. I do my right to his left cheek, he's going to cover, and then we're down here to the midsection, he's going to cover. He has to focus on, as he's doing these, making sure that he maintains a guard. So if he drops his hand down, the other hand needs to return back to the cheek. So again, same side, we're here 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to recover guard, we switch. 1, 2, 3, we recover guard, we switch. The next part of this, so lesson number 6, is the exact same thing. We're switching sides, switch sides, switch sides. So it looks like this. We're going to go into a flow. We're here. 1, 2, 3, switch right away. Go back to it. 1, 2, 3, switch guard. And then I start with my right. 1, 2, 3, switch guard. 1, 2, 3, switch guard, and we'll notice how we're coming back to this guard each time, allowing your partner to reset. Go again, bump, bop, bow, switch, switch. All right, so that's easy. We're just building on where we are, switching from one side to the other side. The next part of this is now we're getting kind of more freestyle, free play with it. It's the exact same setup, exact same sequence, only I'm going to not allow Mike to return back to his guard each time. So we're not going to have that pause in between. There's also another little tweak that he talks about that we'll also incorporate, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. So we take this guard, we're here, 1, 2, 3, right away. So we don't allow that stop for him to return to guard. Now, that allows for a lot of things. His guard can slip a little bit. He can drop his hands down. If he doesn't move his feet, all of these things add to the sort of chaos of combat that I talk about all the time, where he's just going to have to learn to deal. And this is the type of thing that you can't necessarily put down in manuals, and why actual live training with partners is so important. And whoever this anonymous author is, they mentioned this, that you can't just read from a book and train. You got to do practice. You got to do partner training and whatnot. So these little adjustments based on where we end up, where I move, where he punches, whatever. His body, by doing this repetition, 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 is learning these micro adjustments that need to be made. So we'll do a couple practice rounds like this. I'm keeping the same sequence. High, high, low, alternating sides. That set pattern, 1, 2, 3. So it's here, boom, 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 boom. Now notice what I did on that last exchange. Did you see it? So I start incorporating feints into this. So this goes into the next part of these lessons, is that you don't necessarily always throw the strike as the attacker. The defender is going to cover regardless, even if it is a feint, unless, and he gets into this in later chapters, unless it's very obviously a feint. So pulling back like this or something like this, he says bar it, because you don't know the difference, right? You don't know if a really good feint is actually making contact or going to make contact, or is just a really, really well-made feint. So you're going to parry it regardless. So again, we're going to be back at it. Now I'm going to periodically throw feints and then immediately throw strikes. What do you recommend for some of these? Feint this one, go here, strike, strike, reset, strike, feint, bringing his guard up and then coming down here, or doing finally pop, pop, feint this one, and then come back around for this strike high. Mike is going to have to learn to bar all of them, block all of them. All right, so that's really, really important aspect of this lesson. Another part of this is also straight blows as a boxer, or Mike getting used to defending against an untrained person or unskilled in the art. So what this looks like, so we're exact same sequence. I'm going to do strike, strike, strike. Notice my strikes are wherever my hands are with body rotation, keeping them in straight line going towards my target areas. That's the trained method of doing this. Now a attacker on the street, and untrained in the art of boxing, is going to throw their strikes very, very different. Now, that's not to say they don't have power, they're just not as skillful. They're not as artistic as a skillful means person throwing a strike, right? So I'm going to wind into this, deliver power, and wind into that, deliver power. So I want my partner to get used to both, because in a self-defense situation, he doesn't know if I'm a skilled boxer or an untrained person. We're going to go back to our setup again. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Feint, strike, high. Boom, pop, boom. And he has to get used to dealing with all of these. Finally, we get to the last section where, why throw a block? Well, you got a block, you don't want to get hit, but why wait for the next strike? So, as I'm throwing this strike, boom. If you're a skillful boxer and you know how to cover, there's nothing saying that you can, in the same exact tempo, in the same method or same moment, give that return. So straight return. I go throw a strike, he throws a straight return. I go throw a strike, he throws a straight return. I throw the strike, he gives straight return with that other hand. That's why it's coming back to guard, so that it's easy to throw that first, that straight line strike to my face, to my eyes. And later on in chapters, we'll cover this in our next video of the targets that he gives that are best suited for this. So again, in conclusion for this lesson, we're going to cover, I'm going to just kind of flow through, do my attacks. I'm going to throw some feints, make Mike cover them, and then I'm going to also alternate between a skillful boxer and a wild boxer. So we'll go into here and these big power strokes, changing it up, right? Giving Mike something to work with. He's going to cover them, and then Mike also can now start doing his returns. So as I'm giving these, boom, boom, right? And he's going to cover. He wants to make sure that he's not doing, and we talked about this a lot in sparring and free play, is defense, 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 defense first. So if I go to throw the strike and Mike is throwing his strike and I'm coming in here, he needs to make sure that this is covering. He either forgoes making contact and blocking and then goes with that other strike, but he doesn't want to get hit. Like, that's the most important part. Don't sacrifice getting knocked, hit around in the face for a simple blow. Just bide your time, make sure you're covering, and then give your returns when you're open. All right, there's a lot more details coming up. In our next video, we're going to cover his explanation on free sparring. We'll cover some, what does he call it, means or methods for being a good boxer, and some thoughts on wrestling that he gives, as well as some terminology. So stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.